All right, good evening, nerds around the world, and welcome to episode 161 of the Nerds Unite as One podcast. I'm your host, Paul English, and we have got another fantastic show for you. As today we're going to be revisiting an old topic that we've done in the past, counting down the top 5 best movies we have ever seen. Now, keep in mind, these aren't necessarily our favorite movies. These are films that have just been so well made that we have to applaud the technical aspects of them, the creativity, yada, all that stuff. And to help count that down, I have a tremendous panel that I'm going to introduce to you, starting with Jack. What's going on, buddy?
Not much. Great to be here. Let's talk some movies.
Indeed. And we have a couple old friends making their StreamYard debut who missed our last episode, our StreamYard debut. It's Colton Hunt. What's going on, bud?
Woo! I'm so happy to be able to make this show. Especially since I thought with our current schedule I won't be able to join for a while, so this is awesome.
Yes, indeed. And I'm sorry, do I know this third person here? Because I swear he looks familiar, but I can't pin his name. Oh yeah, one of our other co-admins. Where the hell has he been over the past 2+ years? I don't know, but he's finally back. It's Chris Miller. What's going on?
What's going on, everybody? He's like, yeah. I've been with these guys since the beginning. I haven't left. The blessing hasn't been 2.5 years. It's been over a year already, man.
Yeah, I know. It's been a year since we've done a show, but you were so rarely on them our past few episodes. We thought you jumped off the face of the earth or something.
I'm back. I haven't left. I'm glad to be with you guys.
All right. So let's jump right into the countdown. Jack's only got 4, so we're going to skip him this first go-around. So, Colton, I'm going to start with you. Give me number 5 on your list.
Number 5 on my list is The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. I mean, this is a movie that there hadn't been while this isn't the first movie to actually, make it to the end of a trilogy and whatnot, it's probably one that really, one of the few that we can think of that really got to an end on a scale this huge and actually managed to stick it, Endings are very, very hard, and doing it for a franchise this beloved is no easy feat. So for them to really bring together an epic conclusion such as this, it's really gotta be something that's gotta be acknowledged. So number 5 on my list is The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King.
Okay, alrighty then. Nice, good start. All right, Chris, what's number 5 on your list?
Okay, my number 5 is the original Star Wars. Yes. I mean, what there's Star Wars hasn't been said. I mean, for since the dawn of time, it's just like cinema has had the unique ability to take us to worlds we cannot imagine. It's just like, and no pure example of that is then when George Lucas brought his space opera to cinemas back in 1977, A Galaxy Far, Far Away. It's like, the story's been known to across the whole world. The story of a young boy trains to be a knight, joins this heroic rebellion against this evil empire. It's classic mythological storytelling. You got the cast is impeccable. I mean, the story is well told, and it really transports you in. The characters are iconic. Dialogue can be a bit lead-in some places, but it doesn't change the fact that this movie grips you. It's just like it really just Lucas really pulls you in, and then pulls you into this world. It's just like it's so vivid and immersive. It's just and so iconic, of course, and those groundbreaking effects. They really set the standard. Set the standard in terms of the use of visual effects and storytelling, but it isn't what ripped all essence. It was just this wonderful story that this man created that continues to endure after 40 years.
Indeed, and yes, you are so right. Okay, number 5 on my list is that which I consider the greatest animated movie of all time. There has never been another better, and that is The Secret of NIMH. An adaptation of a fantastic children's book. What did you say?
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Somebody mute him.
Chris, would you like to do the honors?
Damn it.
What the hell is your problem, Jack? I mean, first of all, the book itself is beyond great. I mean, it's pretty much standard reading for any grade schooler. So how the fuck you didn't read it in grade school, I don't know. Your school must have been shitty. This movie is unreal. From some of the best animation you've ever seen to an incredible storyline with memorable characters and damn good action sequences and just enough comedy to keep it entertaining. The themes of this film are so endearing, and I mean, if you haven't seen it, go watch it right now. I'm looking at you, Jack, and so are the rest of us. So yeah, number 5, Secret of NIMH, the best animated film of all time.
I'll put it on the list, along with Star Wars.
Along with 100 other classic movies. What? Oh, jeez. All right, Colton, I'm coming back to you. What's number 4 on your list?
Jack, if I find out you haven't seen any of the movies on my list afterwards, I'm gonna. Well, I can't do anything now, but I'll think of something. But anyway, number 4 on my list can be summed up in one sentence: in space, no one can hear you scream. Yep, I'm talking about the original Alien from 1979. That was the movie that. What I love about this film is that, they really do show that you can do a lot with just a little. I mean, we only see the alien showing up in only a few times. It doesn't move a whole lot, but it still manages to be a very unnerving film. And I think it really, it's like, I wouldn't say horror was kind of in a decline or anything around 1979, but I feel like if this was a movie, this movie, really gave it a huge boost, like seeing the xenomorph, the chest burster bursting out of that guy's chest, all of the characters managing to be likable and not come across as a buffet table and everything was amazing. And of course, we can't forget about Sigourney Weaver becoming the iconic final girl, Ellen Ripley. And of course, there's Jones the cat, who was the only other person to make it to the end of this film. Because hey, who doesn't like to see it? Who doesn't like cats?
That made it to the movie.
What? Did you say something, Chris?
I said the cat made it to the end of the movie.
Yeah, I'll deal with you later. But anyway, yeah. Number 4 on my list is Alien. It's a great horror movie. And also, before I forget, the Nostromo might be one of my favorite sets in any movie. It's so ridiculously claustrophobic that it just feels, very unnerving just watching the characters trying to traverse through it, especially so that means that the alien can be wandering around any corner and we'll never know until it strikes.
Okay, Chris, you. What's number 4 on your list?
And my number 4 is the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Yes, the entire trilogy. Peter Jackson, my goodness, man, you hit a grand slam with these 3 movies, And J.R.R. Tolkien's work, the Lord of the Rings, is the one. It's like the book that's shaped the entire fantasy genre. It's so pivotal in shaping how the genre. Shaping of this entire genre that, of course, everyone and of course you had people trying to adapt it. You had Stanley Cooper tried to adapt it, I think, at one point. Even John Borman. But Peter Jackson came in with that sense of perseverance, and man, did he pull off a miracle. What many considered to be a folly, he just really how he just pulled it off. It's just bringing Tolkien's text to the screen, which was considered unfilmable for a considerable amount of time. Just the epic sweep, just the scope. Just how he brought Middle Earth to life. He just like all great films. It really immerses you into the world. And of course, you got that great cast: Elijah Wood, Ian McKellen, Viggo Mortensen, Orlando Bloom, Billy Boyd, Dominic Monaghan, Liv Tyler. Everyone he fired on all cylinders. It's just everything. And the visual effects at the time were incredible. Of course, who can forget Gollum? My precious. It's just he really changed the trajectory of film history with these 3 films, and it's just wonderful the feat he was able to pull off, and just making 3 spectacular movies. And I've never seen anything quite like these movies. I don't think there's going to be anything quite like that for quite a while. What he just achieved was incredible. So number 4 on my list is the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Not to mention an impressive soundtrack as well.
Huh? Say that again?
I'll have to add that one to the list.
Jack. No!
You say
Jack,
you
what's
haven't
number
seen
4 on
them,
your
Jack?
list?
My number 4 is the best Fantastic.
Sorry, what was that?
Mine is the best.
Oh wow.
Sorry. Okay, I'm done. I had to do that. I had to do it. I'm done. We've had our fun. Go ahead. It's for real.
Mine is the best Fantastic Four movie ever made, The Incredibles.
Mm.
Okay.
The animation is beautiful. It's seamless. The story, it's great. It really gets to be what's about a family, and Brad Bird directs it fantastically. It's just an amazing all-around movie, and it's one of my favorite best-made animated movies.
Okay. Number 4 on my list is a true masterpiece, and that is the original 12 Angry Men. I mean, holy shit, what can you say about the dialogue and the tension of this film that really hasn't been said a million times by a million other critics? I mean, this is an example of how to make a dramatic, tension-filled movie with not a single punch being thrown. There's no action film, and yet it is so engaging. It is so memorable. The characters are well written, and I mean, yeah, I can't say enough good things about this. So, I mean, I was so happy to get this. So, yeah, number 4, 12 Angry Men, the 1957 one, because there is a remake that came out in 97, which I'll admit is good as well, but come on, you're going to watch the original.
Yeah.
So, yeah, number 4, 12 Angry Men. Okay, Colton, you're up next again. What's number 3?
Number 3 on my list is A Tale as Old as Time. I'm talking about 1991's Beauty and the Beast.
Thank God you said the animated and not the live action.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you'd have to mute me if I said the other one, but yeah, how good is this movie? It got nominated for friggin' Best Picture, and not Best Animated Picture, just regular Best Picture. Well, that's because there was no Best Animated Picture at the time, but that's how good this movie was. I mean, for starters, the animation is beautiful. Like, even when you're looking at even before the castle is turned back to normal and it's all creepy looking, it's still like breathtaking to look at. All the songs are catchy as all hell, but the story is really what sells it. It is what, it's an effective, reconstruction of what we all love about these types of fairy tales and everything. And the romance is perfectly done. It really makes you want to root for these two characters and see the spell get broken. And when it does, it's just magical. And of course, we can't forget it has probably maybe one of the best Disney villains ever, Gaston. I mean, he starts off as this, boorish sort of figure, but then he's actually kind of really interesting, very realistic sort of villain. How he's like, he won't take no for an answer, and he goes to very ridiculous, very huge lengths and pretty dangerous lengths in order to get what he wants, getting to the point where he doesn't even care if Bella doesn't love him. It's just now a matter of principle of no one says no to Gaston. That's something that really rings true that's something that we can really understand in this day and age. That's for sure. So yeah, number 3 on my list is Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, Chris, what's number 3 on your list?
Number 3 on my list is Lawrence of Arabia.
Hmm.
Yes.
Never seen that.
Shut up, Jack. Go to hell, Jack.
I mean, to be fair, that's like what, a 3-4 hour film.
Yes, but
it's hard to sit down and watch that,
But it's worth your time and telling you. At least it was worth my time to. I mean, but it was worth my time to me. It's just what can you say about this movie that has, that cannot already be said? Peter O'Toole, he's pretty much just front and center of this movie. And he plays the title character, for crying out loud. But yet, he gave a career-defining performance, just the complexity, the nuance, and everything. Just like he brought Thomas Edward Lawrence to life. It's just like. And just you're gonna have more suited to bring this tale to the screen than David Lean. I mean, it's just like the mastery of the scope. It's just like and of course it's just what he put on was just it's truly magnificent and just it's probably the best photographed movie in history. Just what he and cinematographer Freddie Young did. It's just like in terms of taking us out to the desert, just made it spectacular yet terrifying all at once. I mean, that's just moves you. It's just like, and of course, the cast in this movie is just phenomenal. It's just you got Anthony Quinn, Omar Sharif, Jack Hawkins, and of course, Omar Sharif. I think I mentioned Omar Sharif out, and there's Anthony Quinn and Al Guinness. It's just like, I mean, this is truly top tier, and just in terms of the actors he brought for those roles. It's just like, it's just truly spot on. And the screenplay is probably one of the best written in movie history. As Steven Spielberg said the best. It's a miracle. It's shockingly beautiful, hugely intelligent, and is one of the best movies it's one of the best epics ever made for film. So number 3 on my list is Lawrence of Arabia.
Okay, well done. Jack, what's number 3 on your list?
My number 3 is Logan.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Paul doesn't like that movie.
What, Paul?
No. I don't like that movie.
No, he doesn't.
Continue. Oh, did Jack freeze?
Jack?
He froze.
Wow.
Jack is stunned.
Yeah, he's too stunned to move. Dude, check out the pose we got him on. What is he like doing a shot of cocaine or something?
Jack has never been speechless, I guess.
I gotta take a picture of this.
Okay. Oh, God. All right. Well, while we wait for him to come back, God damn it, StreamYard. This is why we left Google Plus. Don't be doing this to us too. Oh my God. Okay. And he's gone. Okay. Well, I'm sure he'll come back, but while we wait, I'll go to my number 3. And admittedly, this is kind of a cheat because it's 2 movies, but really it's meant to be seen as one. And that is the culmination of one of the greatest achievements in recent cinema history. And that is Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Mm-hmm. Now, let's be honest here. The Marvel Cinematic Universe was unlike anything that we'd ever seen before. We've had trilogies, we've had sagas before, and they were all great, but never before had we seen an interconnected series of movies. And ever since the first Avengers came out, when we saw Thanos at the end, we got teased for 6 years. Thanos is coming. Thanos is coming. Thanos, must prepare for Thanos. It was so overhyped that I don't think anyone actually thought he'd live up to it. But what happened in Infinity War? He outshined the rest of the damn cast. And when you consider how well those guys were built up, that's really saying something. How much we knew and cared about, and yet the villain overshadowed them all. Oh my God. So it was so well done, so insanely great. And then, Endgame. I mean, yes, a very slow burn, I admit it, but the greatest third act in like probably ever made. Just the level of fan service and just everything about it was just so amazing. So yeah, there you go. Admittedly kind of a cheat move, but number 3 is Infinity War and Endgame, meant to be seen as one movie. Okay, so Jack just came back.
Sorry about that. My internet crapped out for a second.
Yeah, we thought you were like so stunned by what I said that you just froze. Okay, but anyway, continue, Jack. What were you saying about number 3?
Mine is Logan. Excellent film. Very well made. A great end to the Wolverine character and the Professor X character. Introducing X-23. Great. Just the way it's so visceral, the action. It's so in-depth with all the characters. And just the way they film it, and the music, the Johnny Cash song, it all fits wonderfully. My number 3 is Logan.
Okay. All right. Colton, what's number 2 on your list?
Number 2 on my list can be summed up in one phrase, which is ironically ties back to the movie I just had in the previous from my number 3. And this line is, "'Twas beauty killed the beast." 1933's King Kong. We owe so much to this movie. I mean, the effects. We probably a lot of films we have today. We probably would not have with that. I mean, we probably wouldn't have a Jurassic Park. We would not have a lot of stuff without it. It's like sure there are some several outdated cultural stereotypes, but beyond that, though, the effects that they use to bring King Kong to life. I mean, just that amount of attention to detail you really just had to sit down and applaud the film team for being able to accomplish that in the freaking 30s and not have any of it seem like it was fake. It all feels completely legit. Okay, yeah, there are one or two dated effects, but beside that though, they really do flow together seamlessly. And it's like a great adventure overall, adventure monster movie, so to speak. I could like happily sit down and watch this movie any day of the week. And I'm like I said, it's without it, I can only imagine the kind of movies we would not have had. So great job, guys! I'm so glad we have this movie.
Okay, Chris, what's you got for number 2?
Okay, number 2 on my list is Casablanca.
Nice.
Here's looking at you, kid.
Here's you, kid. Oh my goodness.
I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship, gentlemen.
Hey, what a lively, what a wonderful and enthralling movie. This movie, if you ask people all the time they were making it at the time when it came out, I mean, this film will go on to become the classic that it is. They would probably give you like an incredulous stare or something. They would not believe that Casablanca would have the immortality that it has. I mean, this movie has an impeccable script. The direction is fantastic. And it's directed by one of the most underrated directors in the history of film, Michael Curtiz. He directed The Adventures of Robin Hood, Angels with Dirty Faces, the original Captain Blood. He's one of the most underrated directors in movie history, very much so. And he makes a well-balanced production here, and also no role was wasted. And of course, it's just like it has some breakneck pace, and of course, you get the great cast. Claude Rains, Sidney Greaser, Peter Lorre, just like, and Conrad White, Estevelle, and Strausser, and of course Ingrid Bergman. And there's Paul Henry, of course, Humphrey Bogart himself, as playing the coolest character in movie history. It's like it's like this is the career-defining role. Plus, it's got a great twist. It's like it's right. It's the characters are very colorful. Just like this gives film. It's simply immoral. It's just in terms of how perfectly crafted the story is. I mean, you always get hooked when watching this movie. It's simply a masterpiece. So my number 2 is Casablanca.
And kind of hard to not argue with that one. All right, Jack, what's number 2 on your list?
My number 2 gave us this iconic line. Why so serious? Mine is The Dark Knight. It's not my favorite Batman movie, but I think it's the best made Batman movie, and it's just a good film overall. I mean, we got Heath Ledger's Oscar-winning performance as the Joker, terrifying in every scene. Harvey Dent, Batman, Gordon, everything's just so good. They really go well into the differences between Batman and Joker and how they're like, but they're not. And then you throw Harvey Dent in there as the White Knight, and it's really good. And it's beautifully filmed.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. So number 2, and guys, I'm not going to lie, this was beyond difficulty because this is one of only 2 films that I can honestly say is legit 10 out of 10, flawless in nearly every way. 2 and 1 are like that, and really they could have flip-flopped. My 1 and 2 can flip-flop, so it's really difficult for me to come up with a finality. But number 2 on my list, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, I kid you not. Like I said, this film, again, flawless in nearly every way, from flawless storytelling, flawless character development, flawless action sequences, flawless, flawless character moments. I mean, just everything about this film is just incredible. That's really the only, and I hate saying it because I know that word is so overused. In fact, I won't even say it, but I'll say it. It's flawless. There's no flaw whatsoever, and even the special effects. This came out in 1982. The special effects are fantastic. Even today, they hold up. And as Colton said, some of the most memorable lines. Colton alluded to one, but I mean, there's so. I mean, do you know the Klingon proverb that tells us revenge is a dish that is best served cold? It is very cold in space. I mean, God bless Ricardo Montalban. The guy was just he was superb in this. So yeah, number 2, one of only 2 films I can say is legit 10 out of 10. Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. All right, so guys, before we get into number 1, I want you to throw out super quick 1 or 2 honorable mentions, movies that would have made your list if we did a top 10. So Colton, give me like 10, 15 seconds. Give me 1 or 2 honorable mentions.
All right, my first honorable mention is 1937's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Basically because, without that, while there are some conflicting reports as to what was the first feature-length animated film, this is definitely the one that everyone thinks of when they consider that. Because without this movie, who knows, we would not have, okay, maybe we would have, but I'm willing to bet we would not have many of the other films we got today. And my second honorable mention is 1956's The Ten Commandments. It is epic on every conceivable level, and I have no idea how they had the patience to pull any of this off in 1956. I think I would probably have gone nuts just from trying to manage all those extras alone. But Cecil B. DeMille pulled it off, and of course, we can't forget Charlton Heston as Moses. Great
And
cast.
let's not forget Yul Brynner as Ramses. What a perfect. So
Definitely.
let it be written. So let it be done.
Yeah.
My father's favorite line in all of cinema.
Where's your God now, Ramesses? Oh,
All right, Chris. Do you have any honorable mentions?
2 actually.
Okay.
Yes, of course. You said mention a couple. And my second honorable, my first honorable mention is Pulp Fiction. Wow, what a spectacular, stylish, inventive, and darkly has a bit of dark humor here and there. I mean, this movie exhilarates you. It really put Quentin Tarantino on the map. I feel Reservoir Dogs maybe better in some aspects, but Pulp Fiction is definitely the superior movie. It's so addicting just whenever you watch it. So the dialogue is masterful. The performances are excellent. The jokes tend to be a bit exaggerated, but Tarantino manages to make it funny, thought-provoking, all in one. It's just, and the lines are quotable. It's like, so of course, who can't forget Samuel Jackson with his The Path for the Righteous Man, and it's like,
there ain't a soul alive who hasn't seen that film who doesn't know it.
Jack.
Probably. What movie?
Did you say you have or haven't seen it?
He hasn't seen it.
Probably not.
that was my first honorable mention, and my second is Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely that one.
Orson Welles' first and best movie that broke all the movies and broke all the rules and invented new ones. It's really a triumph in how he pulls you into the story of this newspaper editor, his rise and then his rise, and and the relation and the rivalry. And he gets into his friendships and his relationships. It's just like his personal fall. Orson Welles was only 25 when he made it, but yet he acts like it seems like a film that was done by a veteran, and the performance is incredible. It's like the writing is sublime. It's just like the cast is just terrific. It's steering and it's magnificent, and and you can see why it's considered one of the best movies ever made. So those are my 2 honorable mentions: Pulp Fiction and Citizen Kane.
Yeah, for those who don't know, I have a confession to make. I have seen Citizen Kane, but it put me to sleep. I was bored out of my mind.
How dare you?
I am a heathen. I know. Okay, Jack, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, just the first Avengers.
Okay, then. All right. I've actually got two honorable mentions, and I'll go through them real quick. First one is the James Cameron's Titanic. Now, admittedly, I'm not a fan of this movie, but that is an example of a passion project done right. I mean, when you have building like an 800-foot long miniature version of this ship for the sole purpose of sinking it, when you go to the company who made the actual china on the actual ship and say, I want an exact count of every single piece of china plate that you made for the ship at the time, the company made it time, with the exact same material, made the exact same way, and you make all that just for the purpose of having it crash and just be destroyed as the ship sinks. That just shows you the attention to detail and how much care James Cameron put into making this movie the best he could. So I salute him and I respect him for doing a passion project done right. So again, I'm not a fan of it, but I applaud the passion that James Cameron put into it. And the second one is an absolute masterpiece that needs to be talked about more, and that is 1970s Tora, Tora, Tora. This is a good Pearl Harbor movie. It is so friggin' well done. The dialogue is amazing. Now, admittedly, again, like Endgame, it's a slow burn because it's about a 3-hour film, and the first 2 hours are basically just talking. But it's very well done dialogue, and it's setting up for the attack. But when it does come, holy shit, it is some of the best battle sequences that you have ever seen, and it comes during the golden age of cinema when there was no CGI, so everything had to be captured on film, and it looks gorgeous. They are so well done, so incredible, to the point that scenes shot in this film were recycled and used in other battle sequences and other war movies made during the decade. So yeah, an absolute masterpiece, and needs to be talked about a whole lot more. So if you ever get a chance, you have 3 hours to spare, watch Tora, Tora, Tora. It is unreal. Okay, so here we go. Number one, greatest film of all time that you've ever seen. Colton, I'll start with you on this. What is it? Number one.
All right. Number one is a movie that's not only influential for its franchise, but I think for all sequels in general. I'm talking about The Empire Strikes Back. Now, it's not my favorite in the series. That honor goes to episode 4. But like I said, episode 5, it's hugely influential for Star Wars. It sets up everything that episode 4 started. Episode 5 pretty much expands on perfectly. I love how, Luke basically goes through what we do, where at first he goes through episode 4 thinking, hey, the Force is awesome, I want to learn more about it. And then episode 5 reveals that, being a Jedi, it ain't easy. It's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. And I used to hate this movie because I thought Luke was a whiny little prick. But then, I'm totally on it. I actually really understand him now, He was not expecting all this hard work to come from Yoda, all these lessons and everything. But Frank Oz's voice work and everything, he may just make this little green Muppet a hugely, hugely compelling character. And also the Empire, the way they actually, strike back in this movie, the way they, in the previous movie, we always made fun of them for how the Death Star got blown up by a tiny design flaw. But in this movie, we find out that when the Empire is under competent leadership, they kick all kinds of ass. The Battle of Hoth, everything about that one, I love watching that fight, seeing the rebels getting curb stomped as they try to evacuate as the Empire comes barreling down towards them in the AT-ATs, which are great. Which are some of the greatest, enemy vehicles, fiction. I think seeing the Super Star Destroyer for the first time, and this movie that really brings Darth Vader into his own. In the first movie, he was more like Governor Tarkin's right-hand man, but in this film, he is undisputably the big bad. And of course, we can't forget about the classic "No, I'm your father" line. It's like if Luke wasn't put through the ringer now, Luke has been put through the absolute ringer in this film, and that is the cherry on the shit sundae. It's like, how could this day get any worse for him? Not just him, but we also get a lot of great development from Han Solo and from Princess Leia. I mean, I know Harrison Ford has his issues with Han and everything, but he really brings in a lot of depth to this quote unquote scoundrel. It makes him really vulnerable at times when the situation when the situation counts. And when he and Leia exchange their "I love yous," "I knows," it's just ripped my heart out. Why don't you? Empire Strikes Back, and then he gets frozen in carbonite, and then our heroes fail to rescue him. It must have been torture for audiences back in the 80s, having to wait like 3 years to find out what if they'd save him or not. This is sequel escalation done right, and I feel like a lot of movies since then have really been trying to scramble to capture the same lightning in the bottle magic that Empire Strikes Back made. Because you see a lot of directors saying this is our franchise's Empire Strikes Back and everything. But I'm sorry, there is only one Empire Strikes Back, and that is that is the one that belongs to Star Wars.
This is how you do a sequel, ladies and gentlemen.
Definitely.
I don't know. I think Infinity War came close to that, but I see your point, Colton.
Yeah, but like I said, Infinity War owes its existence in a way to the Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. All right, Chris, what is number one on your list?
Okay, I mean, number one is probably considered one of the greatest movies of all time, and I offer you all to see this movie, and it's an offer you can't refuse. 1972's The Godfather. Can you say more about this movie? This movie it comes close to a perfect movie as ever could, as you ever imagined it to be. It's just like what Francis Ford Coppola did in translating Mario Puzo's text to the screen is nothing short of amazing. I mean, the cast is just like and so that screen, the fact he wrote down the screen, that Coppola worked on the screenplay with Mario Puzo. They turned out one of the most well-crafted scripts in movie history. It's just like from its stellar opening scene to its bittersweet conclusion. It's just like it's a movie that absorbs. I mean, it's a movie that just absorbs you. It's like pretty much. It's a magnet, and with that, it draws you in like a magnet. And Brent and then it's just like part of that. What makes this movie? What makes you magnetize? One of the parts that magnetizes you to this movie is Marlon Brando. I mean, his performance as Don Vito is iconic. Like I'm a little confused. He's been imitated countless times. It's just like it's a masterful performance. Of course, you can't forget about the rest of the cast. You can't forget James Caan, John Cazale,
Al Pacino.
There's Al Pacino, and of course, as Michael, the tortured youngest son of the family, he just brings it all to this movie. It's really about, of course, the film is about him. I think he does better than Brando. Just like in terms of bring that character to life. It's a towering performance. It's rich. I mean, it's the random. It's grand emotions. Very much like a Greek tragedy. And Francis Ford Coppola's direction is flawless. I mean, it's spectacular. It's a spectacular film overall, an absolute masterwork, and a defining turning point of the gangster genre. This movie gets everything right. My number one is The Godfather.
Michael's journey might be one of the best protagonist journeys to villainy, I think, in fiction ever. Or at least it's definitely up there.
I agree. It's great. It's well made a journey. It's Charles Foster Gaines' journey.
All right, Jack, what is your number one?
Okay, so my number one is a film I didn't like, but I rewatched it recently, and I thought I was very wrong on my opinion. And that movie is M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender.
Somebody mute him.
Oh, that's a joke. That's a joke.
I don't care. Mute him.
All right, fine, whatever. You're done. You don't get to say it. You forfeit. You forfeit. You.
Okay,
No.
Jack, let's hear it for real this time.
Yeah, no, my for real is Inception.
Oh, thank goodness.
It's a great movie with a great cast: Leonardo DiCaprio, Ellen Page, and it's just an interesting movie about going into dreams. And the effects, like when they're on the ceilings and they're on the walls, the whole thing is crazy, and it's shot amazing by my favorite director, Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
It also has one of the endings that I hate the most.
What?
The spinning top.
Oh, all right. All right. So number one on my list, and you want to talk about movies that have a movie that has been parodied and referenced and quoted. God knows how many times. I don't think any film has had more references, more parodies, and more quotes of it from any other television show or movie, and rightfully so, than Casablanca. I mean, like Chris said, this is probably, as far as dialogue goes, the greatest movie of all. No, it's the greatest movie of all time, period. From an incredible storyline to memorable characters, good solid action sequences, but the dialogue in this film is fucking legendary. I mean, Chris and I and Cole, we were all making all these quotes from these films. This all came from Casablanca. How many times have we heard a quote from this film used in another television show or a movie?
We'll always have Paris.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
I mean, fuck,
Yes.
even Star Trek has quoted Casablanca more times. I even heard a line from it on an episode of Cat Dog. I mean, really think about that. That is the impact this movie has, and it is just like Wrath of Khan. It is one of only two films I can say are a 10 out of 10, flawless in every way. So number one on my film list, the greatest movie ever made, is Casablanca.
I'm gonna face my thumbs for the great Roger Ebert and the great Siskel Ebert. Two very enthusiastic thumbs up.
Well, I have some information on this film that might cause you to turn your thumbs down at this movie, Chris. There is actually, you can see that behind me are two Red Sox posters. There's actually a Red Sox connection to this movie.
Theo Epstein.
Yep. Theo Epstein, former general manager of the Red Sox, his grandfather
Is
was
Julie.
the writer of this movie.
Yeah, Julie. I don't hate the Red Sox, man.
And with that is going to wrap up episode 161 of the show. I want to thank our tremendous panel for joining me for this great episode. Jack, you annoyed us as like hell as always, but still it was fun having you here.
Thanks. I can't wait to go back to watching Alice in Wonderland.
Mm-hmm.
Watch some better movies. Watch some
What is
classics.
the one?
Go watch
Just
something
that-
black and white.
I'm just messing with you guys.
Okay.
Colton, thank you very much for being here. I know it's been hard for you with your schedule. Find a way to get some extra time off and be here. We miss you.
But I really enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed this topic. It made me think a bit more differently than I usually do.
Mm-hmm. And Chris, our admin, it has been too long, my friend. We are so happy to have you back, and try to show up a little more often, okay?
I'm bored. I mean, it feels great to be back, of course. I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to leave, guys. It feels great to return.
All right, so
Guys.
we'll see you next time on another episode. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.